What's up, everybody? It's Monday night. I hope you all had a great start to your week. I hope you had a great day. And I want to go ahead and jump right into this tonight. So 2020 has taught me a whole lot about politics that I didn't know, the way our government works, and things that I thought I had taken for granted that were just things that were supposed to happen automatically, that it turns out that can become real problems. And what I'm going to talk specifically about tonight is the fact that Senator Kamala Harris, who has supposedly been declared the vice president-elect by MSM or the mainstream media, even though the Electoral College has not met yet to officially make her and candidate Joe Biden the president and vice president of the United States, has not left her Senate seat. See, what usually happens if somebody is declared and they have won an election, that means they have a new job. They are the vice president-elect, or they are the president-elect. So they quit whatever job they did have so they could start moving into the job that they're going to have. Now, of course, in Joe Biden's case, he hasn't had a job since he was vice president. So he's got nothing to quit. He's just waiting to move into the White House. But Senator Kamala Harris is still sitting on her seat in the Senate. She's not given up her job to move into her new one. You might ask, well, why wouldn't she do that? Why wouldn't she go ahead and start getting ready for her new job? Good question, class. Why would you not quit your job? That's right, because you know you might not have another one to go to. You have to understand that this is not something that they're doing accidentally. This is not something that they're stumbling into. Even the people committing this fraud and trying to steal this election and trying to steal this country know that there's a possibility that their gamble might not work. This thing that they've tried to do, this thing that they've tried to push on the American people by taking over the mindset and controlling the social media and the mainstream media as a whole. They know that it's a ploy that might not work out for them, especially with the extent that our President Trump is trying to go through the legal system and make the country's Constitution work for the American people. See, the other side is trying to commit crime to get what they want. President Trump is trying to go through the legal routes that have already been laid out by our forefathers in case something like this happened. There are amendments in the Constitution just for this kind of situation where things are this disputable. But they are so scared of letting it get that far because they know that if they let the Republicans and the right-wing conservatives run this all the way through the legal system, that they'll lose. And so I don't condone gambling. I don't condone risking things like that, but I got to explain a little something here to tell you exactly what's going on. In the game of poker, you can always tell by the way people bet and the way they hold themselves whether or not they've got a good hand, whether or not they think they've got a good chance of winning. And when somebody is playing opposite of you and they take their entire stack and they bet, they go all in, they don't hold anything back, well, there's one of two things. Either they're so desperate that they've got nothing left to lose and they're willing to bet it all, or they are 100% sure that they're going to win. Now, if you sit across from somebody and they bet a lot, but they hold a good chunk back just in case they've got to go another round, they're hedging their bets because they know they might lose. Senator Kamala Harris holding on to her seat in the Senate is her hedging her bet. So she's still got somewhere to go if all of this doesn't work out. That means that she does not have 100% faith in the moves that Joe Biden and their administration are making. I want to show you a quote that came out this past. No matter what side of the argument you fall on, the Black Lives Matter movement is not a political seat of power. They're not part of the government. They're not part of any system. They're not part of any law. They are a group of activists. And no matter what you think about what they're doing, no matter what you think about which side they land on, they are not in a position to demand that the government does anything. And yet they have got the Democratic left wing running scared. I want you to read what I've got up on the screen here. And the article, and part of the article preceding this, it says that they have issued demands for when Senator Harris does give up her seat. I want to remind you, she has not yet, but they're already making bids because they want to control the country. They said appointing a black woman to this seat is non-negotiable. I got to tell you, as an American voter, you're not going to tell me that anything that I have to do is non-negotiable. They say this must be done. They said that if there's not a single black woman in the Senate is not a representation of the people. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't necessarily think that that's wrong. But here's the thing. The seat goes to whoever deserves it. Whether that is a black woman, whether that is a Latino woman, whether that's Latino or black man, whether that's a white man or a white woman, or an Asian man or woman. It goes to whoever the people of that district choose. To let an outside force, outside of the government, and essentially a social movement, give us ultimatums on who we have to put into power as far as giving demands and saying it's non-negotiable, is negotiating with terrorism. They're basically saying that if you do not put somebody that we approve of in, there will be consequences. Understand that anything that someone makes you do with the gun of consequences to your head is an infringement on your freedom and your rights as an American citizen. Do you know who gets into the seats of power in government according to our Constitution? The person that the people of that district choose, not some outside force that thinks they can bully their way in and threaten the American people to do what they want done. I want you to have heart. I want you to stand up and be courageous and not let our freedoms be taken away. Don't live under the fear that if we don't give in and let what will be, that things are gonna come crashing down for us. That's not how society works. When a government becomes so corrupt that people can't count on anymore, that's when there's what's called a revolution. The people stand up and they say, we won't take it anymore. You'll either start representing us or we'll put somebody in who does. It's a matter of time. It is indefinite. It will happen no matter who starts it. We've got to hold our government accountable to not give in to terrorism, to not give in to fear. And that means letting our politicians, people know that as long as you do what's right, we'll stand behind you and not just cower because we're afraid that we'll be next. As I say every night, guys, do me a favor. Start up your own channel, start up your own something, get something started. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know that you're watching. Let me subscribe to your channel. Let's get each other's stuff going to where we are a voice that cannot be ignored. Stay prayed up, pray for our nation, and I'll talk to you tomorrow night.